And hello. As promised, this is the video on some trickier problems dealing with the central tendency measurement of mean. This first question is not so much tricky as it's just going to be a little bit more work than what you're used to, and you are going to be reading a graph, which, hey, that's not a problem. Graphs are part of our standard as well. So when we're trying to find the mean of all of these scores, what you could do is you could start writing them down. For example, you could see that they have 3 people that have 25 or 25 data points. So you could write down 25 3 times. You have 126. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 28s. And so, you can just write all of these numbers down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on until you have all the values. And then you can do what you're used to, which is add them all up and then divide to find the mean. Now, I'm going to do this a little bit different. Instead of having all of these values that I'm then going to add up, that's a lot of numbers. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm simply going to see I have 3 25s, so that's 75. I have 126, so I have a 26. Especially if you have access to a calculator and you have a lot of numbers like this makes the most sense. Here, you can see I have 5 28s. When I multiply 28 times 5, I have 140. I have 4 29s. So I have 116. I have 4 30s, so that's 120. I have 1 31, and the 2 32s give me 64. So I didn't write all the numbers individually, but I do still have a column of numbers that I need to add. So 5 and 6 is 11, plus 6 is 17, plus 1 is 18, and plus 4 is 22. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, plus 6 is 27, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there you go. I have a total sum of 572 when I add all of these values. Now, we take the sum of the data and divide by how many data points we have. Here you see we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 20 different data points. So 20 goes into 57 twice. Gives me 40. I subtract and end up with 17. Drop my 2. I end up with, I would try to do 9, but it's not quite big enough, so I'm going to have to go with 8. 160. I end up with 12. I'm going to add a decimal, drop it down, 120, and that gives me 6. So my answer is B, 28.6. Again, this one wasn't hard. It just would have been a lot of basic mathematics, and this was a little bit faster way to do it. And I would not ask you to do this without a calculator, and I'm sure your regular teachers would not either. Let's go to the next problem. You'll see I have another question for you about mean. Saroja made a 71, 78, 69, 84, 76, and 90 on her math quizzes. What will happen if she makes an 87 on her next quiz? You probably will see a lot of questions like this, and I am happy to tell you there is an easy way to solve these. The first way is to know exactly what is her mean now. So go ahead and solve. She has a 71, a 78, a 69, an 84, a 76, and a 90. So if you were to add those sums together, and again, I'm sure you can do this on paper, the dividing part later might be a little bit more difficult for you, but everybody should be capable of adding the sum together. And you would get 468. Now, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quizzes right now. So when you divide that by 6, and I'll come over here where you can see how I divide. I know this is still difficult for some of you. 6 doesn't go into 46 evenly. I can go 7 times and get 42 with 4 left over, and 6 goes into 48 8 times. So right now, her average is a 78. So now look at what she's going to make next. If she makes an 87, is that going to pull her grade up, or is it going to pull her grade down? It's simply a matter of, is this score higher or lower than her current score of 78? And obviously it's higher. So when you make a higher grade, what happens to your average? Your grade goes up. So it's that simple. Find what your current mean or average is, and then see if the next score is higher, lower, or the same. Let's look at the next problem. You see that it's going to be very, very similar, if not the exact same thing. Here's Marcus. Marcus has been tracking the amount of rain in his hometown of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He tracks it for a week, then reports the average mean. So far, here we go. We should start writing this data down and find the current mean. It's 0.8, 1.6, 4.4, 0.9, and 3.5. Finally, he's got another day here, 2.8. So, maybe this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and he's recorded all of these days. Now, you should be writing this down on your paper and showing your work. 8 plus 6 is 14. Another 4 is 18. Plus 9 is 27. Plus 5 is 32. Plus 8 is 40. Carry my 4. 4, 5, 9, 12, 14. Kept my decimals lined up. Wow, exactly 14. Sometimes when that comes out so perfectly, it makes me question, did I add that right? And so then it would be appropriate to grab a calculator and double check yourself, or turn to a friend and see what they have. But 14 is correct. So that was over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So how many times will 6 go into 14? I'm going to go ahead and put a decimal here. 6 won't go into 14. It'll go twice and make 12. I have 2 left over. Bring down my 0, bring up my decimal. 6 goes into 20, roughly 3 times. So it's a little more than 2.3. This would be 18, and that 2 would continue. The 3 would continue. So the current average is a little over 2 inches, or 2.3 inches. So what will happen to the mean if it rains 3 inches next? It will increase. And this program was not really made for writing, but you need to write that it will increase, or you can say it will go up, or it would become higher, one of those things. So those are the 3 problems that you have on your paper. I'm going to spend an extra moment to work this problem. So at this point, you're going to want to pause the video, get a sheet of paper, and write these values down and follow me through this one last problem. Or you could, if you have room, you could do it on the paper or in your notebook. Oops, I'm about out of time, so you'll have to come back to see how this ends. Good luck, and thank you.